Hey Star Wars fans, I'm Ez, this is Mike, and this is the Rebel Watch Podcast.
Welcome to Rebel Watch, an all Star Wars podcast.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
How's it going, everybody?
Well, you're going right into it.
Right?
Yeah, that scared me for a second.
Is it
I thought
okay?
I had a moment to pause and just collect
Gather
my
yourself?
thoughts. Yeah, a
No.
brief meditation.
There's no time for that, my friend.
We don't have much
No
time.
time. We have a lot to cover today. Last week we posted our just a part one of the live event at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
Little introductory there type of situation. So
Yeah.
something different. We had a lot of fun there. Later this week we're going to post part two of that. But we're back at it. There's a lot to cover.
That's
There's a
right.
lot going on. Solo's coming out this week.
So this coming out this week, we got a celebration announcement. We missed a lot of news because we were so focused on that
In
live
one
event.
week.
One week.
In 1 week.
One week.
My goodness. But a lot of good came out of that event, and so we're really excited and very proud of it. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Let's dive into Council of Elders, my friend. And there's a bit there. I want to talk. I want to give a quick shout out actually to our new 501st Rebel Legion Mandalorian Merc friends out there.
Absolutely.
So we got Jeff, Doug, Brian, Jamie, Jordan, Nick. There are more. I can't remember everybody's name. I apologize, but I'm working with all these guys. They're great people, and it's a lot of fun, man. You witnessed it with your own eyes.
That's a friendship.
Yeah.
As. I mean, you got to do some more stuff with them this past weekend at a local ball game.
Yep.
So that sounded amazing. I'm super jealous.
You should be.
I wasn't there, but as I had some obligations of my own.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I know I look a little red today.
Yeah.
Me and Jar Jar headed down to Tatooine for an extended stay, and the whole time he was just, "Oh, this son doing murder on Misa's skin." And I was like, "Okay, you coward,
Wow.
chill out." And then look at me. I'm a tomato now.
You're a lobster. You are a lobster. We actually, to be honest with you, we couldn't record yesterday because Mike was like, I have sun poisoning.
I had sun poisoning. Tatooine is no joke. I mean, there's twin suns, Ez.
Right. I think they're a lot closer than we realize.
They're a
to the
lot
planet.
closer. I mean, you need like SPF 300 there.
Right.
I mean, it's double suns.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Double
do.
the radiation, double the UV rays.
I didn't think you were going to be okay there for a while.
Nah, man. I mean, I just needed a couple glasses of blue milk, and I was back out there. A little bantha fodder on my sunburns.
Good.
You'd be surprised.
Is that what works,
Yeah,
actually?
actually, it's the equivalent of aloe.
Oh, you're going to be breaking out later for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Well, that's good. I'm glad you got some sun. You're out and about, and we had productive weekends, so that's good. A couple other things I want to mention, just updates for the show. We have ordered some new shirts here. I'm going to cover us up a little bit, Mike, but there they are.
That's sharp.
Pretty sharp, right?
Yeah.
Some so those of you who are listening on the podcast, I apologize, you can't see it. You could see it if you went to the Facebook page where we have an image posted of the new shirts.
Absolutely.
And basically, we're going to put a storefront. If you're interested in one of those, let us know. Leave a comment down below on the YouTube page or, on Facebook, what have you. And we're going to hook people up on patreon.com/Rebel Watch Podcast to get those shirts. So Mike's also got a few other funny ideas for shirts, and we're working on the storefront idea and things. But for now, on patreon.com, you guys can get those if you sign up.
That's right.
There. So that's pretty cool.
Down.
They're soft too. They're
such high quality, and that
that
print there on the front, as this isn't your run of the mill just like printer here. These guys did a great job on a great shirt. I mean, that's high quality printing there. That's top dollar stuff.
It is. It really is. So anyways, that's fun. Other updates, some things that are going on. Trying to think, we've got the Solo movies coming out, but we also got the Most Wanted. The book will be coming out. We'll be taking a look at that, doing some reviews there.
We got Solo in Ohio too.
Solo in Ohio is Friday. So a little plug for Rebel Force Radio. Mike and I will be there wearing these shirts. Actually, that's them.
Absolutely, what they say.
They're wondering if we're going to be there and are we wearing the shirts.
We will. Did they want us to bring one?
Just got a text message. Yeah, bring extra shirts. Is Mark coming with you?
I think Jimmy said he wears an XL.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get those guys a shirt for sure. Yeah, Jason's a schmedium, so we'll get that there. No problem. We're gonna bring Mark Hamill with us as well. So we'll have a good time up there in Cleveland.
He's also tentatively scheduled for this event. Really hard to get him to really commit. He's got a lot going on.
He does. He got a lot going on.
He keeps saying, guys, I promise I'm going to make it there. Just, busy.
He's busy, and I understand that. You know, they're working out, the details for 9. So
absolutely. I mean, maybe he'll slip a couple nuggets our way.
Would be great. That would be great.
Right.
Okay. Any other Council of Elders?
I don't think so, man.
News, my friend.
No, just ready to talk a little Star Wars.
Is that what we do on this show?
Sometimes we talk about Star Trek. Sometimes we talk about Tolkien series.
Good golly!
But I think today it's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars today. Okay, that's fine. I'm for it. Let's move into the HoloNet. We actually have a lot of stuff to catch up on.
Yes.
Again, we never break news here. We just commentate on it.
That's right.
Celebration. Star Wars Celebration. I am so excited about this. I am so glad that the reports, from Star Wars Newsnet,
Wrong.
throw them under the rug.
Gone. Wrong.
Okay, under the bus. Whatever.
Out the door.
Yeah. They were saying it was going to be in Anaheim, possibly Orlando, wherever, yada, yada, yada.
That made a lot of sense, though.
It did make a lot of sense. I could have made that prediction. Mike, come on.
Yeah, amen. Amen.
In the fall when the park was opening or what have you. This is going to be in Chicago. And I didn't think it was actually a 5-day event, but the more I went back and watched the Star Wars show, it's legit. It's a 5-day event.
5 days.
That's insane. So,
I mean, that last day, we were kind of wrapping things up. We went to the last year. We went to the finale, the closing show, which was it was all right. We didn't learn anything.
The only thing we wanted to learn was when the next celebration was, and we didn't
just
get
said
that.
It won't be till 2019.
Okay.
So, I mean, that day is kind of a wash. A lot of people leave early and stuff too, but that means 4 solid days.
Yeah. That's intense, man. That's a lot of goodness going on. So.
And it's a lot closer to us too.
Yes, it is. So we will be there in full force, and cannot wait to get into that. So more on that as we get closer. I don't even want to tell you guys when tickets go on sale because I don't want you guys trying to beat me out for tickets.
I think it's
although
June 8th.
If any. Is it June 8th?
I think so, right?
We can't miss that. Well, I just said I didn't want to say it.
No,
June. Okay.
June 8th.
That's what I said.
Yeah, June 8th.
I said don't tell them because we don't want them to know.
I did. That's the...
I know. I'm just saying.
That's the right date.
That's what I'm saying. Don't tell them. They're right. Okay,
you're
gotcha.
Right, you're right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right. Unless you get VIP passes and you want to send them our way, that's fine too.
Absolutely. Full price we'll pay.
Yeah, full. I mean, and maybe an extra 5.
Yeah. Slip it your way. Nice sweaty Lincoln.
Yeah.
He is on the 5, right?
I think so.
American dollars.
Again, I only deal in Republic credits, so I don't really know.
Trying to bank in Canadian dollars, it's not going to work. But
okay, so another bit of HoloNet news here is, and I don't know if this is true. I keep hearing that people are saying that essentially an Obi-Wan film is confirmed. It's almost like people are mentioning that it's like it's a go.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was just Ewan McGregor showing up at the world premiere of Solo, because he's going to have a cameo in this movie. Spoiler alert.
Maybe.
Just kidding. I don't actually know. So
before the premiere, no, right after the premiere, I didn't see him at the premiere at all on the live stream. I must have missed that.
Right.
Someone said, "Oh, they're definitely doing a movie because Obi-Wan has a beard, or Ewan McGregor has a beard." I watched it back. He does not have a beard.
He doesn't have a beard.
People were talking a lot of crap.
No, he doesn't.
So I don't know what to believe. It seems...
I think he can grow a mean beard pretty quick, though.
Overnight.
Yeah.
And it's like you.
I
think you shaved this morning.
No, yeah. I did.
Yeah.
But anywho, I think that's... I don't know. We're hearing a lot that could be the case, and... But then I read someone talking about what they thought it would be, and it would just be possibly him responding to some Tusken Raiders on Tatooine and putting down an uprising or whatever. That is the biggest load of garbage I've ever heard in my life.
Well, that's also the story, I think, in his new comics.
Then it shouldn't... Nope. Okay. Wow. Then I'm out.
Can you imagine a feature film about Obi-Wan slaying Tusken Raiders?
No.
That would be the most... We saw Anakin do that in 2 seconds, and it was just... Yeah.
Yeah, no, it can't be anything like that. So we'll table that discussion for a little bit, but because there's also the possibility of a Lando movie.
Yeah.
Just people getting behind Donald Glover, people enjoying, possibly this movie. So I think it kind of depends on how this does, right? It depends on how Solo does if they want to maybe do a Lando movie, and we'll find out this Thursday/Friday.
Well, even if it's like just an okay movie, like people are talking that he makes a really great Lando. So, and Donald Glover's really hot right now.
Yeah.
Like his music, he's writing scripts, well, almost scripts for movies and television shows. He's an amazing actor. So he's hot. I'm afraid that they might jump on it a little too quick. That kind of scares me. With all this stuff that they've announced with like Favreau's show and the Resistance show and Rian Johnson's movie, it's just like when would an Obi-Wan movie come out? When would a Lando movie come out? It makes me feel like Obi-Wan might get tabled even longer now with all those announcements and Lando being or Donald Glover being as popular as Lando.
Yep, that might be true.
We may never see an Obi-Wan movie.
We may not, and that's okay. That would be
maybe.
Well, the longer they put it off, too, there's the you know, hopefully, you know, McGregor can kind of hang around, you know, and play an older Ben, you know. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Well, anyway, so that's some interesting stuff there. The Thrawn novel is conflicting. I'm sorry. So we have a Thrawn novel coming out in a couple weeks or a month or so. Yeah. This summer. New Timothy Zahn Thrawn novel sequel, and he was talking. I think he's outlined, Mike, two more novels after that one.
That's so surprising.
But it may be conflicting with Episode 9.
It could, and maybe even
now, again, I'll give the Star Wars News Net, so that's not, you know, it's not as just calling the, you know, but
you know what too? I think,
what do you think?
Maybe he didn't even have. Maybe he's always had an idea to do 4 books. That blows my mind because he's already written this story once, and now he's like writing an even longer story, it seems, than he did previously about the same character in a different time period.
Right.
But it's almost like Rebels, seeing that, kind of opened up a whole new world for him to say, okay, so Thrawn isn't just like killed in action or anything. It's like he goes to the unknown regions or he goes somewhere else, and now his battle with Bridger can actually maybe take place in these books. Yeah,
and here's a question for you. I think it's different now than it was back when, you know, I don't really know, and I have to do a little bit of research here as to who it was back in the early 90s that was kind of directing all of that writing process, because, you know, it feels like his hands are kind of tied. He's almost told, this is the story. Here's the bullet points. Yeah. Make a story out of it. Yeah. So I feel like he maybe has outlined some stuff, but it is conflict, or they need to hold that, table it, because they have something else that's going to happen in 9. Is what you and I were thinking. If they're going to, why hold him up in doing something unless they have an idea that it could be relevant to Episode 9?
It could be something as simple as in Episode 9 we find out the First Order ends. And that could be spoiled if he came out with a book talking about the First Order's end. Or so it could be something very simple, or it could be Thrawn is referenced in Episode 9.
Yeah,
doing something, or he's in the movie. How crazy would that be? That
would be crazy, but it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that's interesting that they're kind of holding off on that. We'll get this sequel, which seems like it's going to be more about him and Lord Vader, you know, either working together and just, you know. So if it's anything like the first novel, then I mean, we're gonna be.
It's gonna be epic.
It's gonna be epic. It's super. You know, we're super excited for it. So we'll get that going. We'll get that review up very quickly, honestly.
Could this tell us, like the Star Wars Newsnet story they were talking about, the Episode 9 thing? We were kind of dabbling in that before. Could that kind of tell us that he may live up until that time period?
I think it was just... I honestly think the way I read this article and just the idea that he would not... he's outlined some stuff, but they've put it on hold because if we learn more about the First Order's origins in 9 and they spoil that with this novel, then that's not good. Yeah. You know, so it's almost like, you can still write what you're going to write. All of that is good, and you know, Mr. Zahn knows the story. I'm sure he's working with Story Group, or they've told him he has to understand some of what's going on and get the context of where he's at, because Ezra Bridger just literally took him into the unknown region, we believe. And so, that would be one case where you couldn't necessarily have the book come out before 9. Yeah. And we're not talking a whole lot of time. So we have a book coming out this summer. What they're basically saying is book number 3 just needs to be postponed until after,
December of 2019.
Yes. Yeah. So you're pushing it back either another year or at least 6 months from when it would probably be released.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, there could be Snoke connections too.
Yeah.
I mean, Snoke's First Order started in the unknown regions. Thrawn could be there. There could be connections there. Maybe something happened to Thrawn, or maybe Snoke sought him out and said, "Hey, you're a really great warrior.
Right.
I want to recruit you." And he's like, been down that path.
Yep.
And then he was really dependent on Hux's son and that's why he's so ruthless. Maybe Hux's son killed Snoke. Thrawn. Yeah. Doubtful, but
right. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, there could be something like that. No, it could be. Or maybe they want Thrawn to still be alive, like you said.
Yeah.
And and that's something that they need to tell Timothy Zahn, and we need to, I don't know, that we need to hold off. We kind of can't know. We're not allowed to know. Maybe Ezra Bridger, here's the thing.
Come on.
Is with him, correct? How are you going to write that?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. You could write, the problem is it sounds like he's outlined Thrawn novels after episode 6.
Yeah.
These next 2. So he's got his first 2, which are pre-episode 4.
Yeah.
So if the next 2 novels after that are post episode 6, well, there's a problem because you have to now incorporate a character, Ezra Bridger, from Rebels,
what's he doing?
Into your novel.
Yeah.
What is he doing? What's going on there? How does that all play out? That could be huge, my friend.
That could be huge, but you know what, Ez? It takes me back to a discussion we had, I'd say over a year ago now. And it may drag a little into my ponderings too as well. Talking about The Last Jedi and
I know exactly where you're
9. Going. There's a threat.
Yeah.
In the unknown regions.
Yep.
Okay. He could be dealing with that threat, and so could Ezra. Heck, they could team up. Who knows? And going into my ponderings, a little taste of what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think more and more that Kylo may be redeemed, and there's something bigger out there. That could be a huge movie. It could be 2 parts or whatever, but it's kind of what I want now. With the Thrawn, however many books he's saying Zahn's gonna make now, let's make it an epic threat.
Yep. Okay.
And let's see the Skywalker redeemed. I don't know. But we that kind of unknown threat that Thrawn was warning about has kind of been cloaked by the Last Jedi. And
I'm not going to lie to you. The more you talk about there being a 2, like episode 9 being split into 2 parts,
that'd be huge.
Is actually pretty huge.
Wouldn't that be big?
It'd be huge because
unprecedented.
You could do a lot of different things with that, and Disney's probably going to reach out to us and say, "Guys, stop talking about this."
Now we have to rewrite 9.
Yeah, sorry about that. But anyways, so let's stop talking about it. But it could be very interesting. But I like what you're saying about, now how are you connecting Thrawn to the redemption of Kylo Ren?
Well, I'm just thinking that maybe everyone has to fight this unknown threat.
Gotcha.
I mean, that would be tough to write in a movie. That's why it would have to be a 2-part series. But you know what, Ez?
Yeah.
This could be the end of the Skywalker saga.
Yep.
So why not go out with 6 hours of footage?
Yep, exactly. Okay.
I don't know. I
like it.
It's crazy, but it's kind of what I want now.
Can I ask you a question, too?
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about where you and I off the camera, off the mics, we've been talking about where this podcast is at season wise.
That's right.
We're in a dark place.
Very dark place.
We're in Empire Strikes Back territory.
That's right.
And so I think when that happens on this podcast, we return to something milestone, something that started everything.
That's right.
Okay. And that's basically Who Left Ray on Jakku.
That video, I tell you right now, I can't self-promote it enough.
I mean, Who Left Ray on Jakku?
Yep.
That is the question we need answered, and I think the answer could have something to do with Thrawn.
And the Last Jedi novelization.
Oh, that as well too. Which is we're tying all this in together. So I'm just saying that makes a lot of sense as well. There's a story there that cannot be told. So
Thrawn could be the piece that's missing from all this.
Yeah. He really could be. He could be the savior of the entire galaxy. Okay.
How crazy would
Whoa,
that be?
You guys went way up.
No, it would be sick.
It could happen.
Okay.
All right, so I think we've kind of talked about that enough. Really excited for it, but we'll get into more speculation as the book comes out, and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
Now, into pondering with Kenobi.
Absolutely.
Send your ponderings to us. Just shoot us a message on Facebook, or hit me up at _.
Send a letter.
2 meters. Yeah, send us a letter.
Throw out a P.O. box soon.
Yeah,
send
sure.
us whatever you want.
I was like, are you throwing out my address here live on the...
Yes.
Whoa.
It's in Ohio.
Yep, there you go. Send them to Ohio. We'll get it. No, but
Jimmy Mack, I think, send him his address.
Right, he'll send them. Yeah, he'll send them to us. But anyways, yeah, I mean, we've got some deep ponderings today, and we want yours. Yep. And we have a couple, but we need to talk about something super important. We didn't get a chance to have a real full, hearty discussion on the Last Jedi novelization.
Nope.
So I think now Mike brought up some stuff to me today. We pulled out the old hard copy and we started sifting through the pages.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe some of the things that I either had missed or that I hadn't read yet.
Yeah.
And I want you to talk about this for a little bit, my friend. What have you been pondering
It's worth
on?
discussing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's taken me a while to finish the novel, but I finally did. I mean, I don't know how many lunch breaks it took
Sure.
to get through it, but I finally did. And the last couple chapters in this book are just so juicy. It has to be discussed. So I was talking about Kylo Ren, right? When he is facing Luke at the end of The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The way Luke talks about him really has just kind of changed my idea of where I thought Kylo Ren was at this point. Because at this point, when he faces Luke, I'm like, full dark side. He's embraced it. He just killed his master. He tried to convince Rey to join him and rule the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I thought his head was at.
Yeah.
But all I needed to do is get in the head of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
For him to say, yeah, there was a lot of cruelty and a lot of hate in his look, but what really consumed him was fear and pain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The more and more I read about Luke talking about no one's really lost, and that theme came back when Rey told Leia, hey, Luke Skywalker's gone. It's funny that she said Luke Skywalker's, like she didn't know who he's talking, or who she would be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
She called him Luke Skywalker. She just said Luke's gone, but no, she said
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker's
Right.
gone. And she's like, yeah, I know, but she's like, no one's really gone. That theme came back when I just thought we had seen it once with Luke, but then Leia mentions it again.
Right. That's really cool, actually, that we get that in the novelization.
Right? We didn't get that in the movie.
Yeah.
I just have this feeling that it is a Skywalker saga, and it would make a lot of sense for him to be redeemed. And I think getting into Luke's head in that moment about what was going on with his nephew and that there was just a lot of fear and pain, it just kind of made me think that redemption may be more likely than I had kind of hoped or thought. But, I mean, I could be wrong. I probably am wrong.
Well,
It'd be tough, I think, in this movie because who would be the villain? I just don't know.
Right. I think people need to hear this, my friend.
Come on, let's a little reading.
Just a little reading here.
The book of Matthew, or is
this is the book of Luke.
the book?
This is the book of Luke.
It's all part of the.
It's
I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Luke had registered nothing beyond his nephew's presence when he found him with Rey back on Octu. Now he blazed into Luke's sense of the Force, almost radiant with power.
Yes.
It was the kind of power Luke had foreseen for him, first as near infinite promise, but then later as an equivalent peril.
That tells me, man, that he initially saw a lot of promise and then a lot of peril, but he calls them equal, like it's an equivalent power. I mean, that's
50-50.
It really feels like it.
Yeah.
It really feels like it.
Yep. That power was fed by emotions so strong, they seemed almost to pollute the Force around Kylo. Rage poured out of him, and near malignant cruelty, a lust to deform and destroy everything around him, to blot it out and erase it. But those emotions weren't the most powerful ones Luke sensed in his nephew. Even stronger than the anger were Kylo's pain and fear. They filled him, threatening to devour him.
That description, when I hear that, I think of Darth Vader. I think of Anakin Skywalker.
How powerful is Ben Solo? You know, I mean, that's the thing. He is powerful. And I don't know, man. I think that he's it's almost one of those things I told you. It's sort of the idea of like Jean Grey, like the phoenix inside of her, the power that he's afraid to tap into because it's so much. It's more than anybody could possibly handle. You know what I mean? He would lose a handle on it. He's afraid of that, but also, you know, feels discouraged and people aren't helping him. He doesn't know what to do. He's confused. He's angry. He's upset.
Well, think about it. Even Snoke, who thought he completely manipulated Kylo, underestimated him.
Yeah.
Had no idea. Luke actually realized how powerful he was. And he says in here, after that little part you just read, that he's like, there's also another part, remind me, that we need to talk about where Luke and Kylo have they see each other for the last time. It's fucking, I mean, it's freaking, we'll have to bleep that out. It's fine. It's amazing. I can't even remember where I was now. But anyway, so Luke actually talks about Rey the same way, about being as powerful. He senses when he sees her, he's like, she's like a beaming light in the Force. Like you can't miss her. And that's how he references Kylo here about his strength. So it almost seems like they could be on an equal playing field, the light and the dark. But what we were saying is, like, Snoke even underestimated Kylo.
Yeah.
I think Luke actually realized how strong he was, and it was just like, I was telling you, there's a part in there where he just says, I realize this is bigger than me. Where was it?
Where who says that?
Luke says it, like when he was talking to Kylo, and he's mentioning the hate and all that stuff that he senses. He's just like, or maybe it's when he's talking to Leia. I can't remember exactly when, but he pretty much says, "This is bigger than me. I can't handle this." Like, and he kind of says that in the movie to Rey. But
is this where you're talking about, like, their last sort of, you know, when they see each other last?
It could be when Luke talks to Leia. I can't remember.
Because I thought this was interesting, this part where he's talking about... You know, Luke is basically saying every word that you said there is wrong. And, you know, that... just kind of talking about a new hope, right? And Kylo says, Rey, speaking her name like it was poison. You're chosen one, chosen over me. You know, she aligned herself with the old way that has to die. No more masters. I will destroy her, you, and all of it. Know that.
Yeah.
So Luke searched Kylo's eyes, found them full of fury and hurt. You know, it's one word, but I mean, it's the idea that, you know, she is chosen over him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's so I go from seeing this potential that there's still that hurt and that fear in him, that there's possibly good, but when Rey and Kylo look at each other for the last time, let's see, through the massive door. Yeah,
you find that, because something I wanted to mention as you go forward. As Luke is dying, he hears this, not dying, becoming one with the Force. He has all these emotions.
Yeah.
And this was a sacrifice that he made to become one with the Force.
Yeah.
And he hears a familiar voice saying, let go, Luke. You know?
I nearly wept on the book itself.
Yeah. I mean, he couldn't tell if it was a distant memory or if it was real, you know, but it was telling him to let go, and he did. And when he did finally let go, you know, he becomes one with the Force, and it's so cool.
It's gorgeous.
It's neat to have that. You get the inside thought there, and I know it's not a part of the movie, and people, you know, it's a novelization.
No, it's canon.
It's canon. It's novelization. Yeah. So, I'm really, really cool.
I'm hooked on novels.
Yeah,
on the novelizations of the movies, because I wasn't.
Well, we're obsessed. You know,
and before I was like, I saw the movie. You are in the thoughts of the characters when they cut scenes. There's more. There's thoughts that aren't taking place on film. that this captures, and Jason Fry, I thought, did a really great job of capturing that and kind of playing with some stuff.
Well, the fact that he worked with Rian Johnson so closely on this just tells me a lot, you know.
And he built off stories. I mean, it was kind of crazy. I don't know if you noticed it, but when we had talked about the Millennium Falcon, we were talking about Legends. We looked at the vehicles and stuff.
Right.
We talked about the parts. Did you notice the 3 droid brains were mentioned in here? Like R2 was
they were
connected in, and they were talking about
they were
the 3 droid brains were like arguing with him about what to do.
That's right.
Legends.
The connections.
Canon.
Right. I know.
It was great. So he did and he played with some of Dave Filoni stuff too, or whatever.
Right.
But let me read you this part,
sure,
because as I was telling you, I felt like I had a sense of compassion there for Kylo, and that maybe he could be redeemed.
Okay. Yep.
And I thought, you know what, maybe there could be something for those Reylo fans out there. And then I read this. Oh, let's see. So Kylo just picks up the dice, right?
Sure.
They disappear in his hand. He says, as Kylo stared at them, he sensed something else. A tremor in the Force. The prelude to a familiar connection. He stared at Rey. They're having their connection for the last time.
Yep.
He stared at Rey. She stared back at him. Her gaze level and unafraid. There was no hatred in her eyes as there once had been, but there was no compassion either.
Wow.
Sealed. Like, she is not... That Reylo is done.
Wow.
Reylo is done. To me, that seals it. No compassion.
Holy smokes. We are going to make a post. I cannot wait for people to get after you on this one.
This is just the novelization. I'm telling you right now, I had a moment when I was reading, when we were talking about Kylo, I was like, he could be redeemed. This could be the Skywalker hero at the end that the story deserves. I didn't really want that, but then I'm reading these other things about just Rey just like cutting him off, and there's not even compassion there for him anymore. I don't know, man. Now I'm conflicted. I
like that she's grown beyond the
his manipulations, even
and his rage, or her own, rage or fury at him and things, and it's just sort of like she is a Jedi.
And like, you're not kidding, because when Luke was talking in the deleted scenes, when he told her that those villagers were being pillaged, he said a Jedi would wait until the time was right, till they were ready.
That's right.
Till they could actually do good.
Yep.
She sensed him. She could have shot like she did the first time she saw him with the blaster. She could have reacted. She could have went after him. Be like, he's right there. I could end this all now.
Right.
She said patience.
Yep. Growth. Yep.
Growth.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, let's go.
I know. Well, and honestly, with Luke gone, you could almost imagine, if the Force is a teacher, as it is, that I just imagine in my own mind that it's like speaking to her. It's like, guiding her even more. So she senses Luke's sacrifice, and I think it's sort of, here's the thing. I've really, really, really struggled with the idea that they left out of the movie the third lesson.
Yeah.
So I struggle with that, and I honestly think the lesson might be indirect, and that it is Luke's passing. It is Luke's self-sacrifice. It is Luke, coming back. I know it's to inspire
the third lesson, then, so to speak.
Exactly. He himself and what he did and everything that he, accomplished is the lesson. Luke is the milestone that she has to grow beyond. And that to me was sort of like, it's the mark. The bar's been set. And so for her to get there, I still think he's going to come back. I know that in the novelization and then the deleted scenes, there's that third lesson that didn't quite make it into the film. I don't like that idea. I like that they kept it out, and that he'll come back as a Force ghost. And give that third and final lesson.
He could,
or that it's indirect, and just that it is in who Luke is and what he did for the galaxy. I kind of
like that, because Luke didn't even understand. He still had things to learn, or he pretty much had learned them, but Yoda pretty much just told him, you hadn't realized it. Like, you knew the lesson, you just didn't pass it on, and you didn't teach her that you learn from failure, and that he himself learned that. And
let me kind of clarify too, because you might be saying that these were lessons about why the Jedi Order needed to end. And so I get where you make the case that it's like, he was trying to show that. And in doing that, you know, we get the piece with Yoda, but at the end, she sort of, I don't know, I just get the sense that she felt what Skywalker had done for the galaxy. So she knew that I don't know. It's hard for me to kind of wrap my head around, because I was interested in that lesson, in that third lesson. And I get that it's just the deleted scene where, you know, he talks about what a Jedi would do and what a Jedi wouldn't do. But I think there's more. I think there's another lesson, and there's something that he's going to come back to and talk about. So I don't think that's finished.
What if he just said it was lifting rocks?
Then that would be terrible.
Check that one off.
So shoot that down if we can.
Other stuff that was interesting about the novelization, there was a nice scene when they board the Falcon where Leia meets up with Chewie near the cockpit, and they kind of have a moment for Han and for Luke, and she tells him Luke saved us. He sacrificed himself for us, and Chewie has a moment and kind of cries and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that was nice because they didn't give really Han his due in the movie. They did in the novelization towards the beginning
and in the end. Yeah.
And
in the middle with Luke. I mean, we saw that in the film at least a little bit, you know, but they elaborated on it more in the book. So.
And then she brings Luke's line back and tells Rey, because she's like, Luke Skywalker's gone. He's like, she's like, no one's ever really gone.
Right.
That was huge. She doesn't know that. We forget Rey is so powerful.
Right.
She doesn't know that he's just become one with the Force and that he could show up at any point.
Right.
She didn't see Yoda.
That's true. She has and that is
idea.
Genius, by the way.
He might just show
Good
up.
Call,
like, holy
man.
cow.
She does not know.
No idea.
Unless Leia were to, but I don't even know that Leia knows.
Leia didn't lift those rocks.
Because you can talk about Legends all you want, but in canon, I'm not so sure that she, even you look at the books and stuff and where we're at, how much did she know about Force Ghost?
And in here they tapped into, because she was thinking about some of his teachings, but it was nothing like that.
No.
It was just kind of really tapping into the Force so much. It wasn't even really like manipulating or using it to become, like, it was, I don't know. It was just the way they described then at the end, like Luke letting go and just becoming one with they talked about the insects and the plants, they're all the Force, and then he just became one with that, and the Force just kind of went on its way. It was just so beautifully written.
Yeah, it was. I know.
I don't know, man.
Now, all of that has been good, right? All of that has been good. But Mike,
the real nugget,
get me to the last couple pages here, second to last page, I think it is. And if you can, I want you to read some of this for us, because this blew my mind. Go for it.
Let me preface this with, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that this reference is absolute fact. I understand that there could be something else behind it, just a reference, whatever. But I have to read it. I think it's worthy of it. So the last couple pages, they talk about the caretakers on Ahch-To, and how Luke passed. When he passed, they found his robes. They put him away neatly. They found his weapon.
Yep.
Was it his green lightsaber?
Oh, absolutely, it was. Right? It absolutely was his green lightsaber. Yes.
They found the compass, all this stuff. That's good stuff. And they said, strange other gear to the repository would join other items gathered over the generations. I think he went to Ahch-To, got some of these like artifacts left to use them, or something like the compass or something, who knows, and then came back and left them at the temple.
Well, I also think too, it's more that like ancient things that were once there that had been taken from there,
but he
returned them back.
Yes, like the Sith maybe got them or something.
Exactly. Well, remember he went around to all the different, Palpatine's contingency plan. He went to each of the what were those things called? Gosh, the observatory. The
observatories.
Yeah. Observatories. Yeah. And he collected all of those and brought some of those pieces back.
You're right.
Because the compass it came from. We know that from. Yeah.
Battlefront.
Yeah. Was it Pylo or?
Pylo.
I can't remember how to say it.
I know
Sorry.
what you're talking about.
But anyways, it's in the new game. It's in the new story mode. So they were super like revering. Like he came here. He did his own chores. He gathered his own food. He was such a light burden to them, and they're the caretakers. They are here to care for these, Jedis and these masters. And this is just a cool part. If you really start to think about Ahch-To, he was coming here, and other masters had come before him when they were in great peril, when they needed to seek, you know, solitude, and they needed to get counsel, and they needed to meditate, you know. And he actually even came there and severed himself from the Force. And it's so cool that in this novel they talk about that and the dreams that he had. The Force the Force awoken. Yeah. Not that much longer before we start this novel. So as it was awakening in Rey, it was sending dreams to Luke. Yes. To tell him that it is time to connect again to the Force. Absolutely. Because, my good friend, what he did in severing himself from the Force, which, by the way, is excruciating, it's painful. Yeah. It's not, we know in Legends that it's not something that the Jedi enjoy, that they don't like. It feels, they feel dead. It's a burden. It's a
we saw
torment.
That from Master, what was his name? Enfile?
Yeah, with the Barash Vow.
Had a similar experience.
Similar experience, yeah. I mean, he was still connected to the Force, but he was on that journey, right? That Luke is on. We saw in we read in Legends, you know, in the old Republic when forget her name, Mitra is severed from the Force. Yes. The pain when they go, you know,
when they go to the void,
when Lord Scourge, you know, goes there, the pain that they feel without the Force, because it is a part of who they are. Great point. And it would be like, I don't know, suffocating. They feel like, so what Master Skywalker was going through on Ahch-To, I don't think we've really fully understood, and the caretakers did understand this, the burden that he was bearing. Yeah. Because if you read the novelization, I went back and read what you told me to about Snoke. Yeah. How wise Master Skywalker was.
Oh, yes.
For doing that.
He gives him a lot of credit.
I actually think, you know, we sort of like, we get on Luke for severing himself from the Force, but he did it because he thought it was right, because he believed it would protect and preserve, that the Force itself would send a chosen one. It would, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so, because he doesn't belittle, the sending of Rey to him is huge, but once he reconnects to the Force, he realizes he has one last role to play, and he must play it, and he goes to seek out Rey, and it's that connection that she's having with Kylo that he just... you know, he had just gotten this connection back to the Force, and so no, done with that. Leave. He just couldn't mentor her or whatever, but he still had a role to play, and he had to go meditate in the Force. So, anyways, their treatment of Master Skywalker here, they revere him. Yeah, he is someone who they've seen this over the generations. They know that the Jedi come to Ahch-To for this reason.
And they call them outsiders, and some could be Jedi, it could be others too that are just seeking like. Solitude, a place to evaluate, to meditate, whatever it is they're doing, they're just seeking some sort of solitude. And it's kind of some fun. I don't even think I'm pronouncing this, whatever they call the caretakers here, the Lanays or whatever. But and then there's a main one where I'll probably butcher that name too. But to say a few of the outsiders had been kind, as devoted, and the outsiders being like Luke Skywalker, right? A few of the outsiders had been kind, as devoted to the Lanay as they were to them. And if you had been mad, then the Lanay's secret songs were called years of fire and ruin that had forced them from their homes until things resumed their proper course. But most had left no particular impression, keeping to themselves and their studies. The latest outsider had been a curious one. He had arrived bearing artifacts, some of which the Lanay's songs recalled as having been taken from the island long before, which is exactly what we talked about. Rather than hold himself apart, he had learned the Lanay's language and ways, appearing each month at the Festival of Return. It just reminds me of Ewoks.
I know. And the return
I don't know why.
Of the Jedi, yeah.
Right? And he had insisted on doing his own chores, gathering his food, and performing repairs alongside them. Eventually, Alcida Oka had accepted that such activities were part of his devotions and accommodated him. He had been little trouble after that, though the same couldn't be said about his rude, destructive apprentice, the one he'd said was his niece. His niece.
I think we just end it there. The one he said was his niece.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's not the only time they say that.
No.
They actually mention it here in a little, I don't know if you can find that or not, but they mention Rey being Luke's niece again, you know, and
he may have just said that as like who's this stranger you're bringing?
Right.
But like, just because they didn't like her so much, like, hey, I'm a good guy, it's family.
She's my niece. Yeah.
Or she's his niece.
Or she's his niece.
And
yeah.
he kind of tapped into the Force and realized that.
Yeah.
As I mean, he had a moment with Leia too. Don't forget. When he taps in the Force, he goes to the rock, and she's like, Luke, and he's like, Leia. And in the novelization, they have a little bit of a moment.
Yeah, sure. They do. They do.
Was he just like...
But I think he might have called her his niece before that moment. But either way, even we don't know that for sure, and I don't think, you know, so he might have said it afterwards as an excuse for her actions and behaviors.
That's true.
But did you find where he calls her his niece again?
I don't think I can find it. Maybe I'll get to it here, but the way they describe them leaving and Skywalker leaving and departing from Ahch-To is actually quite beautiful and kind of seems to tap into their understanding of the Force too, kind of. Yeah. So they say both were gone now, meaning Rey and Luke. The apprentice had left aboard her skyboat with her two companions, while the master had simply vanished, his robes discovered on the ledge above the sea. Maybe he had leapt from the peak and given his body to the waves, or perhaps he had surrendered himself and become shadow, dispersing into the light and darkness from which all had been created. Lene's songs recalled that both of these paths had been chosen before. Wow. Such a cool, just to hear someone else's perspective on kind of like the Force and religion or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of connections too, because it goes on to talk about whatever the truth, he was gone and no longer. But much work remained to be done. There was a hut to be rebuilt, a fallen lightning rod to restore to its roof, which is kind of cool. So it's tying back on these little different things. A strike had just destroyed the library, this ancient library, which is, we were saying, this is the Force tree. There were steps to mend and creeping moss to clear, and there were the routine tasks of the island. It would be winter soon, and the Linus, and any new visitors would be dependent on salted fish, dried kelp, so on. Where else? Where'd you see it?
Yeah, you missed it, where he said when they destroyed the temple, and after that, the other damage that had been done by the careless niece.
There it is. Yeah, and the other damage that had been done by the careless niece. So that's twice that they referred to her as his niece, and I just think it's...
No one's talking about it because I'm sure it's just Luke saying, yeah, that's my niece. Sorry about the hut.
Right.
Or is she family?
It would be crazy.
JJ could retcon it. You don't. I don't even call it a retcon because I don't think anything's really been answered. I think
that doesn't say that. There's nothing definitive there really. No. It's just interesting, right?
No, I'm talking about like Rey being from nobody.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm saying either way on that. You know, it honestly could go either way.
Yeah.
So I'm cool if she's no one. I'm also interested to see how she could be related.
Could be somebody.
Could be related to somebody. Now, think about niece, right? So is he talking about Leia's daughter, or is he talking about someone else? You would assume. Yeah, it's Leia, right? I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else who could have had a.
Did Solo have any brother and sisters?
You know, if his. Goodness, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of. I don't know. You know,
the family tree, man.
Well, I'm trying to think of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Did they have any other?
They did. They had other kids.
They did.
Yeah. Remember when Anakin goes back and?
No, they didn't have other kids though. That was the thing. That's why they were given.
He introduced himself to.
He did. That is so. Lars. Yeah, that is Uncle Owen. That's
Lars. No, that's Lars' other kids from another.
Yeah, that's Anakin's brother, which is his Uncle Owen. That's Uncle Owen in Episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying what I was saying was that, you know, in episode, so Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru they didn't have any other kids, but if they did have like some secret kid somewhere, that would have been Luke's half brother. Not half brother, I'm sorry, would have been like his step brother. So, wouldn't even have been I don't know, cousin actually is what it would have been. So it doesn't even really
going down to deep cousins.
That doesn't even work at all. But my point is that there some, does he mean, a brother in the Force, another Jedi or something. I don't know. It's just crazy. It probably is just his niece.
Yeah.
And
a fun little nugget that Jason threw in there to get people kind of riled up, or just us. No one else really cares.
No one cares.
Or not a lot of people maybe read it. I don't know.
Yeah.
This was worth it because you know what?
It's fun to think about.
It is. I'm thinking about all of these connections with the canon material. They even talk about Poe. He talks about, because when they see Skywalker for the first time come out on Crate, Finn's like, is that who? And he's like, I think it is. And he starts to think back, like he actually, because Finn knows Skywalker from Legends that he's heard growing up, but Poe knows that he's a real person because Poe's parents fought with him after 6. And he even talks about the Uneti tree, or however you pronounce them. He talks about it. He knows he grew up by one. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy. I love all the little connections they made in this book. It's so good.
Yeah, it is really good. So if you haven't had a chance to read the end of that, you definitely need to check it out, because it's,
didn't catch it on the back cover.
I know. It's great.
It's great.
Oh, man. Any other thoughts, any ponderings on the Last Jedi novelization, man? It was...
There's a lot. Like, we didn't even talk about... We didn't
even talk about that.
We could probably... I mean, let's be honest. I feel like we're going to be talking about Snoke a lot come episode 9.
Okay.
I think there's going to definitely be some references, or we're going to learn some stuff, or he'll get his own novel. There's a lot of juicy stuff in there about Snoke and forming the Order and talking about other...
Ascending.
And
power.
And it's just... It's beautiful, and it makes it seem like he really respects Skywalker's power.
Yes.
And just that he almost... It feels like he kind of knew them even.
Absolutely. Well, and I just love that, like, he talks about how wise Master Skywalker was.
Yes.
He doesn't really say what it was that he was wise about. And if there is a Force block in there with Rey, it could be two things. When he's connected to Rey, he sees what Luke has hidden from her.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really speculating now.
No, that's what happens, I think. What did you just say? Repeat that?
Is that when Snoke is connected to Rey, is that he sees what was blocked in Rey's mind, that Luke had blocked something in Rey's mind.
I think that's a definite possibility.
So I think that could have been the wisdom of Luke Skywalker. She doesn't know who she is, etc. There's all this mystery journey, whatever. There's some wisdom there, or it's the wisdom in cutting himself off from the Force.
Yeah.
And hiding and preserving, and the wisdom in that is something else.
Yeah.
Because he believed that Skywalker would be the one who would rise to meet the great darkness in Ben Solo that had risen, in Kylo Ren. And
do you think that Luke knew that, just the opposite, that like vice versa, like Snoke knew that the light's equivalent would rise? Do you think Luke knew that?
I think
when
he did.
Cut himself off, someone else would rise?
Yes.
And he cut himself off for a reason.
Yes, my friend.
They didn't want them to know where this individual was.
Yes.
They needed that balance.
Dude, he sacrificed a lot.
Yeah, he did.
To bring different... I don't think he necessarily knew exactly what it would be, or whereabouts, and how it would come to be. And I think the reason on Ahch-To that he's so, begrudging, like, getting back involved, is because he was hoping. He doesn't know what's going to happen, but he knows he needs to sever his connection to the Force. Another light, the Force will awaken. It will rise to meet the darkness that is growing.
He wasn't strong enough.
That,
Luke Skywalker.
Right.
The legend.
The legend, right. And he was wrong in that, and Snoke believed that his power would grow to meet... Kylo Ren's and his own. Yeah. But Luke took a different path, and he was hoping that when Rey shows back up, he was hoping that he would not have to be involved.
Yeah.
That he could just sever himself and he could go peacefully and die. He came there to die. He never thought he would have to be involved. Again, he thought by doing this, he would be out of the game. And that's what the galaxy needed,
I think we're digging into this connection with these 4 characters more than anyone is really giving credit to it. I think, right?
Ask Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson.
Send this, retweet this and send it to Ryan Johnson. And say, what are these guys on?
Let's tweet at him and throw in the link to this video and have him watch it. Right, he can let us know.
Okay,
because and you know what, this book also does a great job of showing how powerful Snoke is. For the little time we see him, we see him throw Rey around, but we also saw Rey reject Kylo in The Force Awakens. I mean, Kylo's grown, but she rejected him, kind of infiltrating her mind.
Right.
This book talks about when he holds up Rey, she's like, she has no defense against him.
Yes.
Like she might as well not even try.
Well, that's why I believe that like there was some whatever Kylo sees in her mind that she's buried it herself or it was hidden from her by Luke or someone else. Snoke has access to that, and that's what you get, that like almost his own sort of, he's like chuckling to himself. How wise Skywalker is.
And you know what else is crazy too? Everyone talks about, Rey's a Mary Sue. Look, she has all these powers now. The same can be said for Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
From going from literally getting beat by someone, as Snoke says, a girl who never held a lightsaber, and him not being able to penetrate her mind like he had everyone else. The next movie, he's manipulating Snoke.
Right.
And defeating his master in an epic manner.
Yeah.
He has risen just as quickly as she has, in my opinion.
Right.
So call her a Mary Sue if you want. If she's a Mary Sue, so is Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
All you podcasters out there.
Call him out, Mike. Call him out.
Can't even. I'm so frustrated. I can't even call him by name.
Gracious.
Mary Sue wannabes.
Wow. Good call.
Bunch of Disney shills. Can we just beep this out so it looks like I'm really frustrated right now?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
That, this, and...
Yeah, that's fine.
But
wow, man.
I mean, this book, I wish I would have finished it quicker, but it's kind of cool that I've read it in small segments to appreciate them so much more and just hit you up and be like, this,
I'm
and that.
so glad
and then
that you
came
did.
together and just,
I'm so glad that you did, because there's a lot of neat little nuggets in there. And it just makes you think. It makes you ponder a little bit more, a little deeper on all these things.
That's all we do, man.
That's all we do. We ponder. Ponder about the Force and things that are happening in the Star Wars verse.
That's right.
All right, my friend. I think we've wow. I think we've
Couldn't
really
even tell you what we have after this. I don't think it's anything.
Nothing.
Pretty much took the script and just
done. Yeah,
ripped it up.
It's over. No, I think the last thing to kind of do very briefly.
Yeah.
Our final little predictions for Solo. Just talk about because this is going to post a couple of days before Solo comes out. And we're excited about it. We're going to go see it. Again, we mentioned we're going to be up in Cleveland. Our good friend David Fogel is going to be with us. We're going to be up there representing the podcast and all of our listeners. So
absolutely,
stay tuned. We might go live up there just on Facebook.
Taking the day off.
Taking the day off. Yeah.
Let's
just
go.
We're just making some new friends and what have you. So
that's right.
Excited about that. What are your thoughts though? You get any bold predictions?
It's so hard to do that. I think it's going to be a good movie. I think we're going to love it because we're Disney shills. We obviously are going to love it.
I still don't know what a shill means. But
I don't either. We haven't looked at it.
No idea.
Yet. We still need.
It could be a really bad word. We have no idea what it means. So
if it makes money, we need to put it in our resumes.
Okay.
I don't even know what to predict. It feels like the general stuff that we're gonna learn more about the things we already know, and I think the way we think it's going to go may not necessarily be the way it's going to go. The end result will be the same. That's not really a prediction, but it's not going to be that predictable a movie because I've heard reviewers talk about like, well, here's some things that need explained in a spoilers review, but I think we're going to get to a point where we're already aware, but the way we get there is going to be different. Yeah,
here's a question for you because we read Last Shot.
Yes. Great book.
Did L3 in that? We just read it. And I'm trying to remember the timelines here. Is she still around in modern day? 2 years post Jakku?
I did not, because remember they talked about.
That's right. They left her.
She created that thing.
She created those to protect and to So we didn't get a modern day L3, or she would have been with Lando, etc. Right?
She could very well sacrifice herself in this movie.
Yeah, there could be something. She's been creating a few things. I think there could be something that happens with L3. That's my bold prediction there.
But I mean, K2 made an ultimate sacrifice.
He did, right? Yes,
which was pretty epic.
Pretty epic, yeah.
And people were saying she kind of steals the show. Everyone thought it would be Chewie and Lando, which I think they're getting a lot of credit. But
yeah,
I mean, I think the voice actress and the droid were people were big fans of.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that, and if you build up a good relationship there, and like you fall in love with that character quickly, and her banter or what have you, and then she were to make a sacrifice, it's gonna be a good movie.
Yeah,
I think that's my bold prediction, is that she's gonna sacrifice herself for Lando.
It's gosh,
I don't know.
I feel like Han and Lando could have very similar endings. They both, I feel like Lando, it was cool. I heard Donald Glover during the live stream do an interview about L3 and just how she's kind of the only woman, he could never, like live without.
Right.
And I feel like if he loses her a lot, I mean, he's got this kind of persona, right? This kind of ladies' man.
Right, like, right.
That could also kind of, I don't know, augment that persona a little bit if he loses her, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's kind of more the Lando we see later in life. And I feel like Han could also have a very similar fate.
Absolutely. I think they both do.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're very similar people.
That makes a lot of sense,
right?
Honestly, in that, their behaviors towards, love and relationships and stuff like that are very much jaded or influenced, whatever, by the loss of, L3 and Qi'Ra.
Could very well be, man.
Just saying. Just saying.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
Friday in Cleveland.
Can't wait.
If any of you guys are up in Cleveland, I mean, hit us up.
Hit us up. We'll meet up.
Yeah, we'll be down.
We'll be down by the Palace Theater. I think we're going to be over at AMC 8 in Cleveland watching the movie. So hit us up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, my friend, it's been good. We've really meditated, and we've gone to different places. I don't think we've ever had a conversation quite like that. So
it was deep.
But that's what happens when the podcast goes dark. That's what happens when the logo of the show kind of switches to something a little bit darker. We've got that gray and white / silver.
I mean, some people call episode 5 the greatest sequel of all time. Right.
So
will our season 2 be the best season?
I think it will be. I do too. So I'm super excited for that to kick off. All right, my friend. Those of you listening, thanks. Please leave us a comment, on our Facebook page. Leave us a review on iTunes. It always helps the podcast. Hit us up on patreon.com/Rebel Watch Podcasting.
That's right.
To get one of these shirts. Anybody who signs up, and I think, oh gosh, we haven't even really picked a tier yet. So hopefully we'll have that edited on there for you. You guys can pick the tier with the reward that has the T-shirt in that, and then Mike's working on some other T-shirts for us that we'll get going there as well. So
also working on a send off. You've got your kind of send offs. I've got my Luke Skywalker episode.
Oh my gosh!
Start doing that.
I appreciate that.
Everywhere I go.
Everywhere you go. Yeah.
Yep.
I just want you to do that at Celebration, and an R2 unit just opens up, shoots you a little.
How sick would that be?
That would be so sick.
You're gonna build an R2,
so cool.
right?
I am.
Could we put one of those like spring features in there?
Absolutely.
Shoot and I'll just start slashing people.
That would be so cool.
Whole barge scene. I think that sounds epic. Let's do it. How many thousands of dollars would we invest?
A lot. Would it be worth it?
Yes.
Every penny. Every penny. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. And as always, may the Force be with you.